Have you ever felt like something massive was happening around you, but you couldn't quite put your finger on what it was? Like the air itself was charged with a secret message meant only for you. Well, what if I told you that while most of humanity was busy with their daily routines, scrolling through phones and rushing through life, the cosmos just delivered one of the most profound messages in recent history? And here's the thing, it wasn't meant for everyone. It was meant for those whose hearts were open enough to receive it. Today we're diving deep into a celestial event that changed everything, yet almost no one noticed. This isn't your typical astrology reading. This is about a cosmic shift so subtle, so precise, that it bypassed the noise of the world and spoke directly to the souls of those ready to listen. So buckle up, because by the end of this journey, you'll understand exactly why your life has felt different lately, and more importantly, what's coming next. Picture this. While billions of people went about their normal day, checking social media, stuck in traffic or rushing through their to-do lists, something extraordinary happened in the invisible realm. The universe exhaled a whisper so gentle, so sacred, that it could only be felt by those whose spiritual antennas were already tuned to receive divine messages. This wasn't like those dramatic cosmic events we read about in the news. There were no solar flares lighting up the sky, no meteor showers, no blood moons causing everyone to look up in wonder. Instead, this was something far more intimate and personal. It was like the cosmos leaning in close and whispering a secret directly into the ear of your soul. Think of it as a divine frequency adjustment. You know how sometimes you're trying to tune into a radio station, and you hear mostly static until you find that perfect spot where everything becomes crystal clear. That's exactly what happened during this cosmic moment. The universe fine-tuned its signal, and those who were ready received a direct download of pure spiritual information. The most beautiful part, this sacred tremor didn't announce itself with fanfare. It moved through the ethers like a gentle breeze carrying the scent of jasmine on a summer evening. Barely noticeable unless you're paying attention, but absolutely transformative when you catch it. Now let's talk about the main character in this cosmic story, Mercury. But this wasn't Mercury behaving in its usual straightforward way. This was Mercury in retrograde, already moving in that mysterious backward dance that makes everything feel a little sideways, a little more introspective. But here's where it gets really interesting. Mercury wasn't just doing its retrograde thing in isolation. It was crossing something called the karmic axis mirror, specifically the North Node. Now, if you're not familiar with these terms, don't worry. Think of the North Node as your soul's GPS system, always pointing you toward your highest destiny and greatest growth. And all of this was happening in Pisces, the most intuitive, dreamy, and spiritually connected sign of the zodiac. Pisces is like swimming in an ocean of pure consciousness, where the boundaries between you and the divine dissolve completely. When these three forces came together, Mercury's communication power, the North Node's destiny pull, and Pisces' spiritual depths, it created what can only be described as a celestial unlocking. Imagine a cosmic key turning in an ancient lock that opens not outward into the world, but inward into the deepest chambers of your soul. This wasn't an event designed for the masses. It was crafted by the universe, specifically for those who had been doing the inner work, those who had been preparing their hearts to receive higher guidance. It was a frequency realignment that could only be felt by the open-hearted, the deeply attuned, and the spiritually ready. Here's what made this cosmic event so special. It wasn't offering just information or knowledge. Anyone can read about spirituality or watch videos about cosmic events. This was different. This was an actual initiation, a sacred invitation to step into a completely new level of spiritual awareness and personal power. Think about the difference between reading about swimming and actually diving into the ocean. You can study all the techniques, memorize all the strokes, understand the theory perfectly. But until you feel the water embrace your body and support your weight, until you experience that moment of trust and surrender, you haven't really learned to swim. That's exactly what this cosmic whisper offered. It was an invitation coated in stillness, wrapped in silence, delivered through the most subtle of sensations. If you felt it mist and deep down, you know if you did, then you weren't just receiving information. You were being initiated into a new way of being. This initiation promised three things: healing from old wounds that have been holding you back, alignment with your highest path without having to force or struggle, and an unfolding of your spiritual gifts that would happen naturally, without drama or delay. The most profound part? If you sensed this shift, if you paused long enough in your busy life to feel something ripple beneath the surface noise of everyday existence, then you're already inside the transformation. You didn't have to do anything special or perform any rituals. Your openness itself was the key that unlocked the door. When Mercury joined forces with the North Node in the transcendent waters of Pisces, something remarkable happened. A hidden doorway opened, not in the physical world, but in the realm of possibility and potential. This wasn't just any ordinary doorway. This was a portal that offered three profound gifts: redirection for those who had been feeling lost or confused about their path, healing for old wounds and patterns that had been repeating in their lives, and expansion of consciousness that would allow them to access wisdom and insights they never knew they possessed. For those who were listening with their hearts rather than just their minds, this represented what we might call a timeline update. Think of your life as a movie, and suddenly you're given the opportunity to edit the script, to choose a different ending, to step into a completely new story. This cosmic alignment whispered soul contracts through the veil between dimensions. These aren't legal contracts written on paper, but sacred agreements your soul made before you were born about what you came here to learn, experience, and share with the world. The most exciting part? This alignment promised to bring waves of emotional clarity, helping you understand feelings and situations that had been confusing you for months or even years. It offered unexpected guidance, showing up as sudden insights, chance encounters, or opportunities that seemed to appear out of nowhere. And perhaps most importantly, it activated a surge of intuitive insight that would reshape not just the coming days or weeks, but the entire trajectory of your life moving forward. Now let's talk about what this cosmic shift actually feels like in your everyday life. Because here's the thing: for profound spiritual transformation rarely announces itself with trumpets and fanfare. Instead, it often feels like fog settling into your body, like a deep pause that seems to come from nowhere. Have you been experiencing that odd moment of stillness in your chest that makes you stop and ask, what is this feeling? And why does it feel both empty and full at the same time? If so, you're not alone, and you're definitely not imagining things. This isn't confusion, even though it might feel confusing. This is calibration. Your entire energy system is being upgraded, recalibrated, and prepared for a new level of spiritual awareness. It's like your soul is installing new software, and during the installation process, some of your usual functions might feel a little different or temporarily unavailable. This energy doesn't knock on your front door and announce itself. Instead, it seeps through the cracks of your consciousness and quietly rewrites the wiring inside you. It's meant to be subtle because it's working at the deepest levels of your being, in places that your conscious mind can't even access. If you've been spacing out more than usual, misplacing your words, forgetting why you walked into a room, or having vivid dreams that feel like memories from another lifetime, pay attention. These aren't signs that something is wrong with you. These are signs that something is very right. Your multidimensional self is beginning to speak louder than your linear, everyday self. Let's dive deeper into what's really happening when you feel like you're not all there, or when your dreams become more vivid and meaningful than your waking life. This is actually a sign that you're awakening to your multidimensional nature. Most of us have been taught to think in straight lines, cause and effect, past and future, logical sequences that make sense to our rational minds. But spiritual awakening involves remembering that you exist on multiple levels of reality simultaneously. When you space out, you're not malfunctioning. You're actually tuning into these other dimensions of yourself. When you forget common words or walk into a room and can't remember why, your consciousness is expanding beyond the limitations of linear time and space. Those vivid dreams that feel like echoes from another life. They very well might be. As your awareness expands, you begin to access memories and experiences from other lifetimes, parallel realities and future potentials that are all happening simultaneously in the eternal now. This is what spiritual teachers mean when they talk about awakening. You're not just waking up from sleep. You're waking up from the illusion that you are only this one person, in this one timeline, with this one set of experiences and limitations. Your expanded self is beginning to communicate with you more directly, and at first it can feel disorienting because it doesn't speak the same language as your logical mind. It speaks in feelings, images, sudden knowings and synchronicities that bypass rational explanation. To truly understand the power of what happened during this cosmic event, we need to understand the three celestial forces that came together in perfect harmony. First, there's Mercury, the planet that governs your mind, your thoughts, your communication, and your perception of reality. Mercury is like the operating system of your consciousness, determining how you process information and make sense of the world around you. Then there's the North Node, which acts like your soul's magnetic north. It's constantly pulling you toward your divine purpose, your evolutionary edge, the experiences and growth that your soul came here to achieve in this lifetime. Finally, there's Pisces minus the boundless field of spirit, where logic dissolves, where dreams become truth, and where surrender becomes the highest form of strength. Pisces connects you to the infinite ocean of consciousness that underlies all of existence. When these three forces met in perfect alignment, they created an energetic download so deep and precise that it bypassed your conscious mind entirely. This wasn't meant to make sense to your intellect, because it was operating at a much deeper level, the vibrational level of your soul. Think of it as your soul receiving new instructions in a language your logical mind hasn't learned yet. You won't understand it all right away, but you'll feel it subtly, unmistakably, transformatively. This sacred recalibration is like your entire inner system being upgraded to receive and transmit higher frequencies of love, wisdom, and spiritual power. Here's one of the most beautiful paradoxes of spiritual transformation. The most powerful arrivals don't announce themselves with fanfare. Instead, they wrap themselves in softness, in stillness, in moments where it seems like nothing at all is happening. But those quiet moments, that pause pressing gently against your busy schedule, that hollow hum lingering in the air after a phone call, that strange emptiness you keep trying to explain to friends who just don't get it, that's actually the activation happening. This is your energy system making space for new codes, new information, new possibilities that couldn't fit into your old way of being. It's like renovating a house. First you have to clear out the old furniture before you can bring in the new. The silence isn't empty, it's pregnant with potential. It's your consciousness expanding to accommodate a bigger, more powerful version of yourself. And just like when you're pregnant, there's a period of time where you know something huge is growing inside you, but you can't see it yet. Most people will overlook these sacred pauses. They'll fill them with noise, with busy work, with distractions. They'll scroll past the gift that's being offered, but those who pause, who breathe, who listen with their whole being, will catch the signal embedded within the stillness. Because the truth is, the universe doesn't always communicate through burning bushes and parting seas. Sometimes it whispers through the space between thoughts, through the pause between heartbeats, through the silence that feels somehow alive. During this cosmic alignment, many people have been experiencing what I call soul pings. Those moments when an old friend suddenly pops into your thoughts for no apparent reason, when a familiar face appears in your dreams, or when you receive a message that tugs on something deep inside you. These aren't just random memories or coincidences, they're karmic echoes, soul communications that are part of the larger recalibration happening in your life. But here's the key. Not all of these connections are meant to be pursued or renewed. Some of these soul pings are coming up to remind you of who you've outgrown, to show you how far you've come on your spiritual journey. Others are emerging to help activate who you're becoming, to support your next level of growth and expansion. The question you need to ask yourself is this: does this connection open your heart or close it? Does it expand your future or anchor you to your past? You're not just revisiting old energies during this time, you're actively selecting future timelines. Every choice you make about which connections to nurture and which to release with love is determining which version of your future you'll experience. This is a sacred sorting process, a vibrational reset that requires courage and discernment. It's asking you to choose truth over familiarity, growth over comfort, your authentic path over the expectations of others. Some memories that surface are actually old wounds in disguise, patterns testing your growth by dressing up as destiny. Just because something feels familiar doesn't mean it's aligned with who you're becoming. Let's talk honestly about something that might be happening in your life right now. Things falling apart, messages going undelivered, words catching in your throat, plans dissolving, relationships shifting, career paths changing direction. If this is your experience, I want you to understand something crucial. This is not failure. This is cosmic precision at work. When Mercury retrograde meets the North Node in Pisces, it creates what we might call an energetic edit happening in real time. What's leaving your life now is meant to leave. What's being delayed is actually divine protection, preventing you from moving in directions that would take you away from your highest path. Sometimes the most powerful breakthroughs begin as breakdowns. Sometimes the clearest path is the one you stop trying to map with your logical mind and start feeling with your heart. You ask the universe for alignment, for your highest good, for your soul's purpose to be revealed. You just didn't expect it to look like surrender. You didn't expect it to require releasing control and trusting a process you can't fully understand. The tears that may come during this time are sacred. You may find yourself grieving identities you never planned to let go of, feeling emotional waves that seem to carry memories that aren't even your own. This is because Pisces dissolves the boundaries between you and the collective consciousness. You're not just processing your own emotions, you're helping to clear collective grief, ancestral patterns and timelines that are ready to be healed and released. This isn't emotional instability. This is spiritual clearing. You're not just releasing old emotions, you're releasing old identities, expired frequencies, outdated programs that were never truly yours to begin with. Here's the most exciting part of everything we've been discussing. Your timeline is being rewritten in real time. Right now, as you listen to these words, your energy field is choosing your next reality, based not on your efforts or your actions, but on your frequency. The universe isn't responding to how hard you're working or how perfectly you're following some spiritual protocol. It's responding to the vibration you're emanating, the frequency of love, trust and openness that you're broadcasting into the quantum field. This is why this cosmic event was so powerful. It helped to recalibrate your frequency, to tune you into higher channels of possibility and potential that were always available, but perhaps not accessible before. You're not falling apart, even if it feels that way. Sometimes, you're being rewoven into something more whole, more authentic, more aligned with your soul's true nature than you've ever been before. You're not losing direction. You're shedding false maps that were created by fear, control, and conditioning, and you're rediscovering your internal compass, that inner knowing that always knows the way, even when your mind is confused. You're not losing your mind. You're releasing mental loops and thought patterns that were never yours to begin with, programs that were downloaded from family, society, and past experiences that no longer serve your highest good. This isn't chaos, even though transformation can feel chaotic. This is sacred realignment, the breakdown of everything untrue, so you can finally live in complete resonance with what's real. And what's real is this: you are so much more powerful, so much more connected, so more loved than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. As we come to the end of our journey together today, I want you to understand that this isn't really an ending at all. It's the beginning you've been waiting for, making its way to you quietly, patiently, lovingly, through the fog of uncertainty and the chaos of change. If this message stirred something deep within you, if you felt that familiar tingle of recognition, that sense of yes, this is what I've been feeling, then know that your next chapter is already unfolding beneath the surface of your everyday life. The cosmic whisper has been delivered. The sacred codes have been activated. The timeline has been updated. Now it's up to you to trust the process, to lean into the mystery, to allow your soul's wisdom to guide you into the extraordinary life that's been waiting for you all along. Remember, you're not just surviving this transformation, you're being reborn through it. Every challenge, every moment of confusion, every tear shed in the darkness is part of the sacred process of becoming who you really are. The universe is conspiring in your favor, even when it doesn't feel that way. Trust the journey, trust the process, trust yourself. If this message resonated with your soul, please hit that like button to let me know it reached you. Subscribe to stay connected as we continue exploring these profound cosmic shifts together. And in the comments below, tell me what quiet message has been trying to reach you this week. What are you feeling called to release, and what are you feeling called to embrace? Your story matters, your journey matters, and your willingness to stay open to the magic of transformation is exactly what this world needs right now. Until next time, keep listening to the whispers of your soul. They're always leading you home.